Hello, I've got set up a basic HTML document. It's titled CSS Vertical Navigation. I'm going to use a strict doc type, basically because I don't want code interpretation to be at the behest of the browser. I think in the long run, if I avoid using HTML tags to style elements and things like that, I'll save myself a number of problems with cross-browser compatibility. I've also included this character set. I find including the character set gets rid of problems in Internet Explorer with forms and the display of text within forms and various things like that. If I want to use any special characters as well, including this, it's going to do no harm. And there we go. I'm going to start by just typing some HTML into the body of the document. I'll begin by creating a div of the ID nav container, and I'll link to this in CSS later. Basically, I want to display all my links within a container that's 175 pixels wide, and I do that by using div ID equals nav container. Now I'm going to insert some links, my website, the rest of the links I'm going to just use a hash key, since this makes them essentially inactive, suitable for testing purposes, at least visually. If I just copy and paste the rest. Fourth link here, I've set it to be of the class active. In CSS I'm going to create a class called active, and this will make the active link, whichever link is written in this way, different from the rest of the links. If I come up to the head of the document, so first off I should close my div tag, come to the head of the document, style type equals text CSS, and I'm going to begin by creating the container that I was talking about by using an ID selector, open brace, width 175 pixels. I want my links to be aligned centrally. I want the size of the links to be 12 pixels, and I want them to be of the font Arial, Helvetica, or for the sake of completeness, if neither font's installed on your user's computer, sans serif should look for something similar. Now I'm going to style the links, or the A tag, but I want them to basically be styled in a manner that means I can use the A tag in different parts of the document without applying the styles that I'm about to give to the A tag. I do this by including nav container space A. That means A is going to receive context dependent styling, i.e. styling within the nav container. I want the links to be white, that's the hex code for white. I want them to have a background colour hash 3D65531, a fairly specific hex code. It's a reasonably darkish green. Display, I want them to be displayed as a block. This basically puts line breaks before and after each link in nav container. The inline style being essentially the converse, it displays no line breaks before and after the links. I want the padding to be set to 2 pixels so that the text isn't pushed up against the edges of the background. I want to get rid of the underlining, so I set text decoration to none. I want the bottom border to be 1 pixel wide, solid style and white. And I want the top border to be 1 pixel solid and this time a lightish grey. Now what we have is basically the entire link styled by these properties and these values. What we have is actually this. You see that the links are active, but they don't do a great deal. So what I want to do is style the active link to be different from the rest, and I want the links to change when I hover my mouse over them. I do that by creating, again I want all this to be context dependent, so I have container space. This time I used a pseudo class on the A tag, a hover, and I also want the active link to be context dependent and to have the same styles as the links that are hovered upon. A dot active, which ascribes the class active to the A tag, and I want to apply a left border that's 4 pixels wide of groove style and white. I prefer to use the hex codes, and I want the right border to be 4 pixels wide, this time of style ridge, and again white. And I want the colour of the link to change so that it's actually dimmer, so I use grey. Close the braces, make sure I close the style tag, save my document, and we get the following. See, as I move my mouse onto the link or its background, the style changes according to the height of a pseudo class, and the active link picks up the same style as the link when it's hovered upon.